Good evening, brothers. JK, your brother in the struggle, on my way back from the gym. Something's wrong with my fucking iPhone holder, so I have to shoot the video in this format today. But today I want to talk briefly about incompetence when it comes to your reboot. And I'm going to be real with you guys. This is going to be a very short video. But you know how maybe you might be in this situation? There's some brothers who jump from one recovery methodology to the other, right? They'll jump from Jesus is going to save me and I'm saved and I want to repent from my sinful nature if they're Christian, to they'll try meditation, transcendental meditation, mindfulness meditation. They'll work with some no-fap coach, they'll work with a therapist, they'll try to uncover their shadow. They'll work with a psychiatrist to determine the root cause of their out-of-control behavior. They'll work with like a brain specialist who will look at all their neurochemicals and tell them how their brain is balanced or unbalanced. They'll do all sorts of things, but they just won't see any results. And what I want to tell you guys today is that, in all honesty, sometimes that has nothing to do with your out of control behavior and has everything to do with your mindset, which is basically your unwillingness to push through every time you reach the same barrier. In almost every methodology that you follow, now doesn't matter whether you've tried various things or you're trying one thing and you're about to try the second. It doesn't matter where you are. In every methodology that you follow, every system, every whatever, every approach to end this behavior, you will reach a certain level where you will plateau, where you will experience frustration, where you will feel as if there's some invisible barrier that you cannot get through. Some men think like, oh, I've hit this barrier and I'm going to use willpower. Willpower doesn't work. So then they get frustrated and they think that, oh, okay, shit, well, willpower doesn't work. I'm going to try and use it must be a root cause. There must be something I'm not perceiving. So I'm going to go work with somebody who's going to help me get deeper into understanding what's happening. But a lot of times it's just that you lack the patience and the right mindset, the right principles that are necessary to break through that plateau, right? Sorry about the lighting, guys. I'm it's not lighting, it's the sun freaking setting. Sorry about nature. But you lack the right principles, and a lot of these systems do not have any sort of principles. And what happens is that because you don't have any principles, you keep getting stuck and you build up your incompetence. So you keep getting to this place where you become literally incompetent because you do not have a principle to move you forward. An example is becoming incompetent in your ability to reboot because you have a belief and a mindset that willpower is necessary to move forward. I don't care what you use, what methodology you use, or who you work with. You will always rise to the level of your incompetence in the last approach towards ending this behavior. And we can bring it down to we can scale it to a micro level as well. You will always rise to the incompetence of your last relapse. If we go back to your last relapse, you're gonna hit the same point. And then you'll see guys like complaining and being frustrated. Every time I get to 6 weeks, every time I get to 2 weeks, every time I get to 7 days, it's like this. It's predictable. At 7 days, at 6 weeks, at 6 months, at whatever the fuck it is for you, you have hit your level of incompetence. You do not have a principle to guide you forward, to guide you beyond that mindset. Whether the mindset is grounded in willpower, whether it's like there must be something deeper, whatever the case may be, you keep going back to that incompetence. And the problem, and just the whole purpose of this video, brothers, is to let you know that this is some super weird shadow or whatever, is to let you know that if you're thinking of trying something else, and I'm not just saying, oh, try the porn reboot system, or I don't care what you're using, whatever it is that you're using, and you're feeling frustrated with it, ask yourself, am I truly grounded in the principles of this system? Or am I just thinking this is something that's going to be easy, and if I just apply it, some basic shit, I'm gonna be fine? Because let's be honest, a lot of dudes trying to end this behavior are just really lazy as fuck. You really think, you know how I know you're lazy as fuck? Because you believe in some shit like no fap and semen retention. It's simple, but it is not easy. You have to work on other areas of your life. It's not as easy as, I know if I get to 90 days, my brain will rewire, and it's bullshit. It's not going to happen. It's not that simple, gentlemen. So again, understand, I'll give you an example of principles. Because sometimes guys ask in the comment section, they're like, well, what do you mean by principles, right? The other day I talked about blind spots, and a brother asked, what does this blind spot mean? I can't find it in the video. It was 58 seconds in. I started 52 seconds in, into the video. I explained what blind spots were. So in the case of principle, a principle would be something in the porn reboot system. It would be a work with your brain, not against your brain, right? You can't use willpower. It's only going to take you so far. Never far enough for you to rewire your brain. So working against your brain is using willpower. Working with your brain is not using willpower, all right? And we explain how to do that in detail and give you the strategies and the breakdown of everything within the porn reboot system, right? Another example would be of a principle would be slips are data. What does that mean? What is data, right? What is data? Data is just information that you're using so that you can make judgments on things that are going to happen in the future. But you guys are not looking at your slips or relapses as data. You're looking at it as the end of the fucking world, right? Listen, you can draw a line in the water when you slip. So this is just the emotional impact it has on me. You can draw a line in the sand. Man, this fucking sucks, and you stay pissed and upset and frustrated and in shame and guilt for maybe 2, 3, 4 days, a week. Or you can carve that motherfucker in marble. And many of are carving it in marble. You slip, you relapse. It's just this thing. I'm so frustrated. Watch. At the end of this video, some dumbass, I say that with love, okay? This is the way I talk. But someone is going to come below this video, and the first thing they're going to say before they even watch the video in the comment section is they're going to say, help me, help me, help me. I don't know why. It's so fucking frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's no principle, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I used to be like that as well. Until I started building my reboot on principles. I had to find my own principles. On occasion, to be honest, there are about 1 or 2 principles that I learned from other mentors, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to apply this to my life. It works. So gentlemen, at the end of the day, whatever you choose to do, therapy, meditation, 12 steps, whatever it is, you guys already, those who followed me for a while, know how I feel about most of these approaches. But if it's all that you can do and it's all that's available, please do it. Please truly understand the principle behind it, and don't run to something else, because you will rise to the level of incompetence that you were over there, right? And if you're like, well, how does this apply to other things in my life, JK? Is it just this? Well, you're probably not even asking that question. It's what I'm thinking right now. If you're in a relationship, you have a great relationship, and the relationship ends. Chances are, if you've had multiple relationships that ended, and you're asking yourself, why is it that I'm unable to sustain an intimate relationship for a certain period of time? And you keep jumping from one relationship to the other, hoping something will change, but never learning from the past ones. Never building principles. I have well, I'll just say, let's say it's a close family member. I'm not so close. He's a guy, and he'll always get in these relationships with somebody, and each time he's in a relationship, he's over the moon, he's so happy, and these relationships rarely ever last. And he'll come to me when he's broken up with this person, and he'll tell me all the mistakes he made, and he'll say, you know what, I'm never going to date this type of person again. I'm never going to do it. Sure enough, a few months later, I'll see him again. he's dating somebody else, and I can tell what the red flags are already, but it's not my place to get in his business, and the cycle repeats itself, right? He's a great human being. He's a good man, and I would say that a good man like him, I would go as far as to say that my emotion is that he deserves a good woman, because he's a good man. However, he keeps rising to his level of incompetence in his last relationship, which means there's a certain thing he should learn and build a principle around that he refuses to do. He gets so caught up in the emotion of the breakup and the relationship not working out. It ends. He feels, woe is me, this always happens to me. And he goes on to the next type of woman. Same thing, always at the same point. So start examining your life. It's okay to pick one or two things and just work on them. If you've noticed, in my life, I stay in my own lane. My lane is helping men end their out-of-control behavior with pornography and masturbation. You will rarely find me talking about some alpha male shit, some dating shit, some bullshit for the YouTube algorithm. I am fucking good at one damn thing, and that's helping men end their out-of-control behavior, their sexually compulsive behaviors, but specifically with pornography and masturbation. And I highly recommend that if you pick a system for anything in your life, be it business, relationships, addiction recovery, habit change, your health, your physique, your diet, your mindset, spirituality, like run that thing into the ground. Understand everything you can. Master it, even if it takes years, because that will be infinitely better than the time that you will waste jumping from one thing to the other, one methodology to the other, trying to understand it. Our system helps you control your behavior in 90 days. This is true. However, I am very upfront about the fact that it takes up to 2 years to fully rewire your brain from the impact of your out-of-control sexual behavior using our system. Right? Don't go running out there and saying like, Jake, I heard this guy, JK, say from Porn Reboot, say that it takes 2 years. I cannot speak for anybody else's system. But in November, it would make it 10 years of me coaching men. And so we have the data for this. We literally have the men who have ended this behavior, right? And one thing they understood, the true rebooters, when they came in, is that they had to go all the way. They had to make this a daily part of their life. They had to make certain things non-negotiables. They had to commit to learning this system. And once they had gained a certain level of proficiency in this and understood the principles, sometimes through the process of slipping over and over again, finally they were like, got the fucking principle. It's immediately the slip stop. Once they understood that, they were able to make huge strides in a 2-year period compared to people who have been in Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous and visiting with their fucking neighborhood therapist. No disrespect, man, to some neighborhood therapists watching this and going like, fuck, this guy's such a fucking douchebag. I own that part of myself, okay? Again, none of this shit comes with malice. It just comes because I speak, this is all I do all day, guys. I just work with guys to do this. That's what I do. So I do get frustrated when I see a man go off and I've seen guys over the last 10 years go off and then come back years later, and I'm like, motherfucker, you just 5 years of your life. I remember you. Yeah. JK, you really remember me. Yeah, I got a good fucking memory. I remember you. But 5 years, bro, what the fuck were you doing? You're doing this, all of that, and you still came back to me. We could have fixed your shit back when I could have worked with you and I had the bandwidth to work with you one-on-one, right? So again, pick one thing, stick to it. When you find yourself in a tough place, understand that you have probably reached a certain level of incompetence. Nothing wrong with the word incompetence. It just is where you are. And you may have to understand some principles and learn a few more things in order to become competent before you can move on. Don't run away, because you will come back to that same level of incompetence. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for putting up with my rants. I really appreciate you guys. I'll speak to you guys later on in the week. Take care.